Welcome to Nitty Gritty Phonics. I'm Miss Casso, I'm a reading specialist, and today we will be focusing on glued sounds. Now, glued sounds can also be called welded sounds. They mean the same thing, but in this video, we'll be referring to them as glued sounds. And we'll be focusing on only 3 glued sounds today. And they are all, am, and an. Now, what is a glued sound? Well, a glued sound is a combination of letters that is easier to learn as a chunk than trying to sound out or tap out each of its sounds. Ready? Let's sing. A glued sound, a glued sound, a tricky, sticky, glued sound, a glued sound, a glued sound, a tricky, sticky, glued sound. Take the sounds and rub them with glue. They'll stick together, that's what they'll do. A glued sound is a chunk. Don't sound it out, just say it all at once. A glued sound, a glued sound, a tricky, sticky, glued sound. A glued sound, a glued sound, a tricky, sticky, glued sound. Take the sounds and rub them with glue. They'll stick together, that's what they'll do. A glued sound is a chunk. Don't sound it out, just say it all at once. Now, all, am, and an are glued sounds because of the letter A in each one of them. The letter A is not making its true short vowel sound. Now, what is A's short vowel sound? It's ah, like in the word apple. Apple, or in the word at. Well, let's take the word all, for example. Let's tap out its sounds. All, aw. The A is saying ah. Now that's not its short sound. It doesn't sound like the short sound at all. So that tells us that we need to remember that when A, L, L are together, we say all. We treat them like a chunk. How would we tap out all? Well, we would take the altered A sound, the changed A sound, and glue it to the L sound and tap it once. All. We're treating it like a chunk, so we say it once. All. This is how you would mark up a word that has the glued sound all in it. You put a box around ALL and treat it like a chunk, like one sound. B, all, ball. Now let's practice reading some words that contain the glued sound all. You try to say the word before I do. Ready? Ball. Call. Fall. Hall. Mall. Tall. Wall. Now let's focus on am and an. The letter A in each one of those glued sounds is not making its short sound. It's making an altered A sound. It's changed a little bit. And this is because M and N make nasal sounds. What am I talking about? A nasal sound. Nasal has to do with your nose. When you make the M sound or the N sound, the sound comes out of your nose. Well, let's try this. Make the M sound. Mm. Now, I want you to make the M sound and then pinch your nose. Mm. Can't really say it, can you? Now let's say the N sound. Mm. Now say it and pinch your nose. The sound has nowhere to go because it needs to come out of your nose. Now, because of these nasal sounds, A changes its sound a little bit. instead of saying ah, like an apple, ah, it says am, 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 A-N, an. Now, because it's changed a little bit, we glue the sounds together and we treat it like a chunk. And when we see A-M in a word, we say am. When we see A-N, an. Now, how would we tap these glued sounds out? We would take the changed A sound, the altered A, and glue it to the M sound and tap it once. Am, am. Now for an, take the changed A sound and the N sound, glue it and tap it once. An, an. And you would do that if am is alone, acting as a word, or if it's hiding inside of a word, like ham. Or if an is alone, acting as a word, or if it's inside of a word, like fan. Let's tap out fan. Now glue two fingers together, an, fan. So glued sounds are sounds that we stick together and treat like a chunk. This is how you would mark up a word that contains the glued sound am. You put a box around it and treat it like a chunk. Am, ham. Let's practice reading some words that contain the glued sound am. You try to say the word before I do. Here we go. Bam. Ham. Jam. Ram. Sam. Pam. This is how you would mark up a word containing the glued sound an. You'd put a box around it and treat it like a chunk, like one sound. An, fan. Let's practice reading some words that contain the glued sound an. You try to say the word before I do. Here we go. Can. Fan. Man. Pan. Ran. Tan. Van. Let's practice reading some words that contain glued sounds. You try to say the word before I do. Let's go. Wall. Jam. Ran. Ham. Fall. Pan. Sam. Tall. Van. Call. Ram. Tan. Keep practicing. Please check down in the description below for other videos you may enjoy. Thanks for watching.